Elijah Vue's mother, Katrina Bauer, set to be in court this morning for a hearing where she's asking to be released on bond. Bauer's been in custody for 2 months now, hasn't been able to come up with the cash to post, and she's currently being held on child neglect charges and obstructing an investigation. Now, 3-year-old Elijah Vue disappeared back in February while in the care of his mom's boyfriend. And the child still hasn't been found this morning.
I want my grandson to be home with my family. So I want everybody to continue, don't stop, just searching for my baby Elijah.
His grandma just devastated about this. And so now with the child's mom and her boyfriend in custody, we're wondering here at Court TV if a plea deal could perhaps tip the scales of justice and get Elijah home. So happy to have a special guest in the studio. You're used to seeing her remotely, but we've got attorney Michelle Thomas here this hour and next hour. So welcome to Court TV, first of all. We always love talking to you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. And, you know, this case is something, you have so much compassion for children. As you know, your specialty is family law, and you're used to bitter custody cases and things. And here, the irresponsibility is incredible with mother sending the little baby, you know, to go live with Jesse Vang, the boyfriend. Michelle, now that these two are locked up and both charged, how might you leverage something with a plea deal to get information from either of them?
You know, Julie, I think plea deals provide incentive for defendants to tell the truth. And that is what we need, because this mother knows more than what she's letting on. She sent her child, her 3-year-old, to her boyfriend to be disciplined and learn how to be a man, which is ridiculous to begin with. She knew that he had a history probably of child abuse, as I understand it, criminal history.
Yes. And
so she knows more, whether she's helped with sort of covering up what happened to the child. And so if she was able to enter a plea deal, reduce her sentence, reduce the charges against her, anything along those lines, that would incentivize her to tell the truth and tell us where this child is.
Exactly, Michelle. I really think they should do something, especially with her, right? Because the boyfriend, he seems kind of hardened and like he just doesn't care. And so he's like, I want a speedy trial. I'm going to prove the child neglect. Okay, but mom should have some compassion, right? I mean, she birthed this child. You would think if they kind of squeeze her a little bit and say, look at what you're facing on the neglect case. If you just tell us where he is, if you know, assuming she knows. Michelle, I think she knows a lot more than she's letting on. What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely, because this is her boyfriend. This is someone she has feelings for, is romantically involved with, and loves. You would think as a mother she would love her child more and want to help the authorities find her child, but, you know, people do crazy things in relationships sometimes.
Right, most definitely. We've got a clip. Let's take a listen.
Did you also talk to him about other disciplinary tactics such as cold water?
I did.
And what did he tell you about cold water?
I had asked him if the timeouts don't work, what process he would use for addressing the behavioral issues. He indicated to me that he was not sure why. However, the child did not like cold water, so he would give an ultimatum to the child. Essentially asking him if he wanted cold water.
Oh my gosh. Michelle, the little baby's 3. Can you believe this?
3 years old, making a 3-year-old take a cold shower, trying to discipline him, it shocks the conscience. It's really a head scratcher. What was this mother thinking? And at 3 years old, the child probably told the mother that he was afraid and didn't want to go with this man, and yet she did it anyway. And so it's really concerning. And, you know, where is Elijah? That is the question. And I believe that she probably knows.
You're right, Michelle. And it seems that strangers care more than mom and boyfriend. Let's listen to more about a boyfriend and what he would do. Let's take a look.
What I think kind of ties it all together here is testimony regarding the text messages from February 18th, and specifically the defendant messaging Ms. Bauer that I'm going to make sure he hates me for being here. The message that he did fear me. He didn't respect me. He didn't respect me. Now I'm making him respect me. That tells me that the reasonable inference there is that Mr. Vang is carrying out actions that are designed to instill fear in the child.
Oh my gosh. I know it boils your blood, Michelle, such an advocate for kids. You hear this, it makes you sick, doesn't it?
It does. As a family lawyer, whenever I see or hear about a child being mistreated, and here, knowing that the mother voluntarily tossed her child into that kind of
Right.
environment, it is beyond comprehension. And, you know, I'm sure that they talked about the fact that he would make him take cold showers and engage in all these other intimidation tactics for a 3-year-old. So at that point, and first of all, she probably didn't deserve to have her child if she was going to even allow those kinds of behaviors to occur. But nonetheless, where is the child? And that is what's most concerning.
Right, you're absolutely right. We know those prosecutors for sure are listening to their jail calls. We know they're monitoring if they're saying something about it. But you know, thinking about this, Katrina Bauer, she's going to be in court in our next hour. She's going to be there at 9:30 this morning. Yeah. Watch her demeanor. You know, if we get a look at the video from this, it'll be interesting to see if she looks at all worried. Like you would think if she truly doesn't know, she's going to be, somebody tell me, are you searching? She's going to want to know. Police are still doing their job while she's locked up. Yeah, look at her. There's, that's Katrina Bauer, and Jesse Vang is the other one. Child neglect charges for these two. For now, hope and pray. I know you do as well, Michelle, and I know all of you at home do too, that Elijah can be brought home safely.
This is Katrina Bauer, 24 CF 163. Appearances by Zoom.
State appears by Jacqueline LaBrie.
Katrina Bauer appears by Zoom from the Manitowoc County Jail with her attorney, Ann Larson.
Matters on the calendar for a bail motion today. Attorney Larson originally filed, let me find it here, a bail motion back on April 19th, and then there was an amended bail motion filed on the 29th. Attorney LaBrie, did you have an opportunity to review both of those?
Yes, Judge, I have received the original bail motion, and then late last night I received the other one.
All right, Attorney Larson, go ahead.
Your Honor, Ms. Bauer is not able to post the $15,000 cash bond. She is asking that the court order a signature bond. I did note in my amended bail motion that I would like to have the address, her location sealed. I think it's important for the court to know what it is for the purposes of bail. I did leave the address with the court's judicial assistant. I also did email the proposed address to Ms. LaBrie. It is a Manitowoc County address, which I think is the more important part. Judge, in the past, she's had 2 disorderly conduct misdemeanor cases and 2 CT OAR cases. In 2011, 11 CM 993 and 15 CM 648, she never missed any court. In 17 CT 236, there was a bench warrant authorized on June 21st of 2017, but on June 23rd of 2017, it was withdrawn and she did appear. In 17 CT 752, Outagamie, all our Outagamie cases except for 11 CM 993, which is in Winnebago. 17 CT 752, there were a number of misses. There was a bench warrant authorized on February 2nd of 2018, which was canceled on February 9 of 2018. There was a bench warrant issued May 17 of 2018, which and the signature bond was reinstated on May 23rd. Additionally, there was a warrant issued August 15, and she was in custody. The signature bond was allowed to continue on October 19. And finally, there was a bond on November 7 with a return on November 15. During that particular case, she was in a domestic violence situation and was not able at different times to leave her home. But as I stated, she did make all of her future, all of her court appearances prior to that. Ms. Bauer has no significant assets. She does receive SSI and has received some assistance from her family, but she does plan on living in town. She will comply with any conditions as set forth by the court, including signing in a daily sign-in. But again, she is not capable of posting bond right now. I would indicate, I believe that this is a Class H felony, so I don't think a signature bond is out of order under these circumstances. We are asking that the court grant our request. Those are all of the remarks that I have, Judge.
Thank you. Attorney LaBrie.
Judge, first of all, I know there is at least one victim representative that wants to make a statement. I don't know at what point in hearing you would like to hear from them.
After you.
Okay. The state is opposed to a signature bond in this case. This is a felony matter. It is an extremely serious case. As Attorney Larson just detailed, the defendant does have prior convictions out of Outagamie and Winnebago County. She has the one missed court appearance in 17 CT 236, and then in 17 CT 752, she's got the 4 missed court appearances, including one of them being a plea hearing on August 14th of 2018, where the warrant was authorized, and she didn't return until several months later. She has shown that she's got the inability to make court dates with those missed court appearances, as well as she has the 4 prior cases. She does not have local ties. The address that I was provided literally a minute before the hearing is not a stable address. I won't say what it is, but it is not a stable address. It is in Manitowoc County, but I don't think it is an appropriate placement for her to reside. She has no other contacts. My understanding is the family is primarily out of Manitowoc County. I don't feel that there is enough stability with the proposed location for this to be modified to a signature bond, especially with the seriousness of this case. I think cash is still appropriate. Furthermore, as far as the second part of the request that was filed regarding the lifting of the no contact, I received that last night. I did contact that county this morning. I was informed that that matter is still pending, that they were unaware that this request was going to be made until I called them this morning. And at this point in time, they are not in favor of it. They haven't really been in communication with her recently. So at this point, they are not supporting that request, and we would ask that that second request also be denied. And as I had indicated before, Judge, I know there is at least one Vue family member that would like to make a statement.
All right, I'll get to them in just a second. I was going to ask Attorney Larson about touching on the part of the motion, the amended motion that dealt with contact with the minor child. So, Attorney Larson, go ahead.
Judge, we have different information than Ms. LaBrie has, but I appreciate the fact that I only filed the motion late yesterday afternoon. So what I would propose would be to withdraw the motion for today and refile to give the parties time to get information so that the court can make an informed decision.
Okay. And so the member of the victim's family that wishes to make a statement, and all I need you to do right now is unmute, and I'll be able to tell who it is that wants to speak. Okay. The panel marked as Orson Vue unmuted. So first I need you to state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Yes, Orson Vue, ORSONVUE.
All right, go ahead and tell me what you care to, sir.
Your Honor, we are asking that the court deny any request by Katrina Bauer to reduce or modify her current bond. She is the mother of Elijah and is the main reason for all this that has happened. She's allowed Elijah to suffer the abuse and neglect that he went through, and seeing her baby with all bruised up and not doing anything to help him, and instead taking a picture and then deleting it is absolutely disgusting. Katrina needs to be held fully accountable for a lack of care for Elijah, and until we find out where Elijah is or what happened to Elijah, her whereabouts and availability needs to be known at all times. And there truly is a concern from everyone, especially our family, that she will be a flight risk. And we trust that the court will make the right decision and give Elijah the justice he deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. So a couple things. First of all, since Attorney Larson is withdrawing the portion of the motion dealing with contact with a minor child, the court, for today's purposes, won't address that. And as far as amending the bond goes, you know, it's difficult to gauge this case on the scale with the prior kinds of cases she's had on her record. They're not the same. This would be an entirely different situation if the child in question were here. He's not. You know, and I don't know what that means in terms of, you know, the context of this and taking a long view of the case here. But it's a significant factor. I mean, she's charged with, you know, party to the crime, neglect of the child, and the child is missing. She's not from here. You know, and as far as the local address goes, whether or not the state has concerns with it, she could have what could be considered by anyone to be a solid address in this county, and it really wouldn't make that much difference in terms of the weight I give it as a factor. What I consider in this case, and the other thing is this, I want to touch on this. It's difficult to attempt to manage this case and the request for bail like we would normally. You know, Attorney Larson mentions that she'd be willing to comply with a daily check-in at the jail. The reality of the situation is that would defeat the purpose of sealing her proposed address. For anyone to think that she could go anywhere in this county and not be followed by somebody, I don't think you're living in reality. And, you know, at that point, you know, there's no control over what might happen. And that's not to say that, you know, I think she needs to be kept on bond as set for her safety. It just means I don't necessarily have control over it. And I don't know, you know, were I to set a daily check-in, if I didn't feel safe going to the jail to check in, I don't know that I would. And then I end up back here having to deal with that, and that's not a situation I want to find myself in. The reality is there's too much at stake, there are too many unanswered questions. That all goes on the scale and leads me to believe that if she were released into the county, she would pose a significant risk of not appearing for court when scheduled. I don't, at this point, think there's a manner in which I could reasonably and appropriately control that through the use of bond. So for those reasons, the court will deny the motion. I'll ask Attorney LaBrie to draft the order. And I guess, Attorney LaBrie, for the sake of the order, if you just want to use language that denies the bail motion that was filed on April 19th, since Attorney Larson technically is withdrawing the other motion, and we may take that up at a later point. I don't want there to be any confusion as to whether the denial today is a denial of that request since it's been withdrawn. Okay?
Yes, Judge.
All right, then, let me just see. We don't have anything else set, so have the parties talked about what you're looking to have set as far as the next date? You want an additional, for the proceedings deadline, a status conference? What are you looking for here? And I'll start, I guess, with Attorney LaBrie.
Judge, there is a significant amount of discovery that we have provided to Ms. Larson. I believe it was provided to her on the hard drive last week. I don't know how long she's going to need to go through that discovery.
Attorney Larson, what are your thoughts as far as setting the next date?
So given the fact that she's in custody and will be unable to post, we're going to need to work on this as quickly as we can. I'm going to ask for a status hearing in 2 weeks.
Let me see what I've got. I can do just a shade over that. I can do May 22nd at 2:30 or 4.
Judge, I'm out of the office that week, but if it is only just a status, I could appear by Zoom.
Judge, if the court has something available the following week, that's fine.
4 o'clock on the 28th.
That works for the state.
That's fine.
All right. So we'll set a status conference by Zoom then for 4 o'clock on the 28th. Attorney Larson, are you going to want your client made available for that, or are you anticipating it's just going to be the court and the attorneys?
I think we're fine with just the court and the attorneys.
All right, real good. Anything else for the record today then from the state?
No, Judge, thank you.
Attorney Larson?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Then we're adjourned.